There we go.
Hey.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the show. We are waiting on Clay to get back to us. He's been taken to the Phantom Zone.
Called the
I
unexpected Windows update.
bet our competitors send them an update right before the show starts.
Elon Musk is still very pissed that I left Twitter personally, so he's sabotaging Clay's computer. He can't tell us apart. That's the scary thing. So
yeah, little do they know, we can do this all day. We can go on.
Exactly.
Let's light this candle, huh?
I like how fervently you're trying to make that a thing. I really love it.
I think more candles should be lit all year round. Forget all this no new ones November garbage or whatever.
Nice.
I do want to point out while we wait for Clay a new background.
Yeah, it's nice, man.
As a form of silent protest. I'm not gonna be tweeting at anyone. I'm not gonna threat anyone with violence. But I will voice my hey Gregor in the chat. Yeah, I will voice my displeasure with the news in the form of this silent protest. So for the foreseeable future, me and Henry Cavill will be streaming together. Well, there you go. Let me put the hat on the other side. Make sure we get to see that beautiful face.
I don't know that I feel like for the holidays, all of Cavill's Warhammer dreams are coming true. So
yeah, that's what I was gonna kind of mention. That it looks like when one door closes, another portal to another realm opens. Hopefully that goes well. I mean,
yeah, cool. I know he's a huge Warhammer fan, and and why doesn't Games Workshop just hire him and he could be their person who's like doing the painting videos? He could be their Clay, right? He's just shirtless painting minis all day.
Don't give him any ideas.
Who wouldn't want to watch that? So
they're gonna take views away from our Clay stream.
Well, that is true. Yeah, we don't need Cavill as a direct competitor.
That's right. But I'm very excited. I don't know. I was telling you guys while we were prepping for this. This might be our last show of the year. I don't know. We'll see.
I did promote it as such, but
yeah, because I hate when the holidays fall on the weekend.
Yep.
It feels like we are getting robbed of extra time, even though you're not, because I still have the days prior and after off for work, but it's not the same.
Right.
I like it when it's like in the middle of the week, and then you can just bridge out the whole week and not do anything. So not have to worry about anything.
We need to make Christmas, instead of being on the 25th, make it like Thanksgiving. It always falls on like the third Thursday of December,
Yeah. It's not like it was Jesus' real birthday.
Not at all. As far as I know, historically, there's no connection. But
no, I believe he was born in the summer.
Exactly.
So exactly. All right. Well, let's get into it a little bit. Like I said, Clay should be joining us in a minute as soon as his Windows is back up. But we did. So you weren't around for last weekend. No, yeah, we were. Yeah, you were. It was the weekend before that. We were all here last weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we don't have much.
2 weeks before that I missed. So
yeah. But Josh, let's talk about some comics for a little bit. I did do a stream yesterday where I showed all my plethora of comics. But I'm definitely wanting to talk about some of the stuff you have on your list. So let's get into it.
Okay. I had a fairly light week, and there's actually one book I picked up that is not on my list because it was for my daughter. So it was the new Bungo Stray Dogs. I'm going to screw this up. Juan, maybe? number 2. So I picked that up for her. But of the stuff that I got, yeah, it's a manga that she's like super into. So
okay,
it's
the
like
name sounded familiar. Yeah.
That and that one is particularly a spin-off title. I think I'm really out of my depth here. I've seen the first episode of the anime, and that's about it. So
I think if there's one thing people join this stream for is for wild speculation from people that don't know what they're talking about.
Oh God, my entire career is built on that. So so let me start with a title that I know we're both reading. Yes. And I was a little harsh on last time. Love Everlasting number 5. Excuse me. I've got allergies. This was the issue I needed. This was the one. Like if you remember last issue, I was kind of like, I may be done with this because it was getting to a point where it's getting very repetitive.
Yeah, I remember.
But not moving the story along at all. And this one does all that. Like it stops the cycle. It goes into very vaguely explaining some things. So I'm super hyped to see where it goes. Oh, you got the Spawn one. My shop didn't have the Spawn one, or I would have grabbed it. So
I grabbed. This was the last one they had of this one. There was one person, I guess they were collecting it for someone else because the shopkeeper was helping them out.
Yeah.
And they kept grabbing like one ahead of me of the last ones. But I didn't want to be like rude and be like, get out of the way, I will need those or whatever, right?
You rip it out of their damn hands. Come on. How long have you been doing this?
But I grabbed the ones I really wanted. And then once that happened, once I had all the ones I really wanted, I helped them find the rest of whatever they needed. So I was, because I knew like they were asking, they just had a list of all of them, all the titles. Okay. And they didn't know which ones came out this week and which ones didn't. And obviously I went in there with a shopping list. So.
You were prepared. What did you think of this?
So I haven't read this one.
I'm
behind on Love Everlasting, but I'm very glad to hear because I think like sometimes I read a comic and I just look at the art and I just get enthralled by it. That I'm very like it allows me to be less harsh on the story, and like I can read Charretier's art like all day.
It's beautiful. It's great.
I love her character design. I love the way like she's adapting some of these things. So I can be way less harsh. Like I know it's very simple. We got somebody in the chat.
Hey.
Hello, doing well. Just talking a little bit of comics this morning, waiting for Clay to show up. But so like even a panel that's just like this 9-panel grid of the cup.
That was great. Yeah, like, I love that page.
I would normally be like, oh, I don't like this. Obviously has a purpose, and it really goes with the story that Tom King, like with the pacing, I guess that Tom King's trying to establish. Yeah. But like, it's not for every book that I would accept a page of just a cup spilled on the ground.
Is this 6 issues? Do you know? Or
I think it is. I really don't know. I need to go. I should check my Substack because since it started coming out monthly, I fell behind. So I'm sure I have issues ahead already if they've been putting them out still. If not, maybe I should pause my subscription.
Oh, interesting.
Well,
again, I mean, it just in terms of like the pacing and the structure with what happened in this issue, I feel like next issue is going to be the last one, but it is also Tom King, and I'm kind of used to these 12-issue structures from him. So
Maxi.
Yeah, exactly. So that was one book. Another one, I'll keep it on Tom King for now because this one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I went into this with literally zero expectations. Oh,
and you got this cover.
I got this cover. Yeah, I was super hyped about this cover. I mean, how could I pass up a Steve Rude cover? I went into this with zero expectations. The title made no sense. I didn't even, when I saw it in my pull list, I didn't realize it was even a DC book, right? Mm-hmm. I liked the first issue a lot. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
I had to look up who the third character of the three princes was, because I recognized the outfit and I had a sense I knew who it was, and I was right, but I couldn't remember the name. I don't want to spoil anything because I think it's almost best to go into this not knowing what the hell's going on. So
I also didn't know what the hell was going on.
Interesting. Okay, it's not just me then. I'm glad.
No, I just picked this up. I was like, oh, this is a Tom King book. I didn't even read the synopsis because I read it. I think I read it last weekend, and then I was on Sunday. I recorded an episode of the Irie Comic Books podcast, and my buddy Paul, he picked this for his pick of the week. And we talked about it a little bit. So he went over the synopsis and explained like the whole all these characters debuted in the first issue special series that DC was doing, where they were just introducing new characters. And I love that Tom King just kind of grabbed all the ones that maybe didn't do as well. Although throughout the week, if you are subscribed to the channel, I've been doing some shorts on some of the characters that show up in this book to give people a little context, because it is hard. Like, I know people are looking for like a quick synopsis of who they are.
Right.
So we have one out for a couple of them. There'll be one more, probably a couple more out today. But yeah, this was just a lot of fun because I didn't know where it was going. And then when we get to that one page where the thing happens,
yep,
I was like, oh, of course, like this is like, here, enter Tom King, right? This is like when I kind of recognized so thank you for finding us interesting. I appreciate that. We do have a logo and everything on our stuff, although you're watching on Twitch, where unfortunately we haven't upkept as much. Apologies. If you want to check out over on YouTube, it looks a little bit more professional. So but yeah, I see.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah, you can contact us through the channel if you want. Thank you for that.
So, I also want to shout out Jorge Fornes, may be my new favorite artist. The art in this, it's like early David Mazzucchelli, like Batman Year One art, and I was in love the whole issue. I'm like, this art is fantastic, and it works really well.
Yeah, I agree. Did you read the Rorschach book?
I started it. I need to go back and read it. Is he the artist on it?
Yeah, he's the artist on it. So that's one incentive to get you to go back.
Yeah, absolutely. I did enjoy it. I think I read the first like 3 issues, and I enjoyed it. I just it hit right at that time that I was leaving Comixology, so it was like I was subscribed to it on there, and then that went down the crapper and I left it. And so anyway, but
yeah, you can definitely you definitely should go back and read it. I think when I read it, the first issue, it was cool, but then I saw that Tom King was doing it was playing for the long run because it is 12 issues.
Yep.
So I just decided to wait, and then finally when the last issue came out, I finally read the whole thing. I really liked it. It was very enjoyable. Fornes' art is beautiful. So if that's, I don't know who's discovering. I think we talked about this a little bit on some of the past few shows. I don't know who's discovering all these artists that DC's bringing in.
Man,
but the talent is just well done.
It's stunning. I did have one quibble with this, and I'm curious what you think of it as well. If it's going to be a Black Label book, why are all the curse words like shown as just symbols? Like, it's a Black Label book, can't they swear?
I wonder if maybe there's 2 things. Maybe they can't swear, even if it's a Black Label book. Like maybe they can't, or they choose not to, or maybe to give you that old-timey comic book feel, like they don't want to swear.
That makes sense,
especially when you got kids in the book. Maybe you shouldn't, and maybe they'll be swearing around, but I think it's funnier. When kids swear, but it's censored out. Right.
So it makes sense here, right?
Yeah.
Because they are kids, kind of like dune buggying, which I have not said those words since the 1970s. But then where is it later on? There's like just one of the other characters swears and it's bleeped out, and I was just sort of like, why? Oh, see, look right here. I can't see my own screen. Right there when the Dr. Fate's helmet falls over and he's like, fuck, I knew he should have gotten a rock. So I don't know. It's strange. But that's fine. I mean, again, it's a totally minor quibble.
Hey, look who's back.
Hey, there he is.
I exist. I'm a person.
Yay. I'm now the odd man out without my Santa hat.
Yeah, the shipping delays. Sorry, Josh, yours didn't get home.
That's all right. Should I do one more and then?
Yeah, you can do one more, then we'll hop over to Clay's.
All right, this will. I'm kind of. I'll skip this for now. Okay, I will confess, I picked this up purely because of the marketing, and that is Nightclub.
Oh,
by Mark Millar and Juan Ramirez.
Yes.
I picked this up solely because of the fact that they said in the marketing, they're like, only $1.99 an issue. Take that, Marvel and DC. And so I was like, right, it's only $2. I'll pick it up. Did anyone else get this?
No,
I did.
I didn't even see it.
Okay.
Clay, I'll send you our review copy.
Oh, cool.
Great.
What did you think?
I like the premise. I mean, I picked it up because of the cover mainly.
Yeah,
that's a great. Both
that is a nice cover.
This is the Spawn one, but I think it's an interesting premise. I was kind of falling off, but then like the end of the book happens,
right?
And I was like, okay, this is not. I thought it was. This is not what I thought it was going to be. I don't know. Mark Millar, like, he always has. It feels like he has these really fun ideas, but sometimes they don't fully evolve into, like, maybe I set my expectations too high.
You're expecting the movie in comic book form?
Maybe. I mean, he might be pitching this stuff for his Netflix deal stuff.
Yeah. Well, it seems like his comic books are always like a slight premise for a film that's always better than the comic.
I mean, I could definitely see this as a film. Yeah.
And if you look at the you can't really see that. If you look at the thing, it says created by Mark Millar at Netflix. So this is part of his Netflix universe and deal, I guess. Which I wonder if
Netflix owns Millar World now.
Yeah. And so and I'm curious if it's, I mean, even though this is through Image, if it's their money that is allowing him to bring the cost down. Because I mean, that's not a bad marketing move. It worked on me, right?
Yeah.
But you know, to be like, hey, $2, go read a comic. I mean, that's at this point almost 1/3 the price of, say, premium DC issues, you know, which are going for about $6 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of had the same response you did. I thought it was an interesting premise. I thought it almost crams too much into the first issue. Like, I could have seen this spread out over the first 2 issues just to give it a little more breathing space. I can't. Okay, I'm trying to. Well, this would spoil too much. Anyway, I won't ask. I am just kind of curious exactly. This almost feels like taking word salad, right? Like, what are people into? This thing. What are comics about? This thing. What if we just mash them together? You know? And so I'm kind of curious if he's going to stick the landing on this or not. But I mean, $2, I'll buy the next issue and read it and see. And if it's not good, I'll give up.
Yeah, if it stays at $2.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll see. These are usually with a little inside baseball, I guess. With Skybound, we don't get the preview book unless we ask for it after the release. I guess they don't really want like reading ahead and stuff. So yeah, I'll buy the next issue. I'll try to get a preview before I go buy it, because I don't. Like I said, I enjoyed it enough. I think it's good, and especially for the price point and the fact that I was going to get the other cover anyways.
Yeah,
like that was a sunk cost, but I don't know how much more I want to see of this, or this just may be better in trade, and that's probably the better way to buy it. So we'll see.
Especially if the cost stays down.
Yeah, yep. Cool. Clay, let's go through a few of your things. What's going on now that you're here?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, look at that.
I picked up 6 weeks worth of comics. I haven't had
Oh my God.
any
Oh,
cash, so and plus during that time was like my wedding anniversary, and every year Shelby and I pick out a cover that we loved, and so every year we have a different cover, and this is the cover for our 3rd wedding anniversary.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Congrats, man.
And we love the variants, so I had got those. Got a lot of Scotty Young covers. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
I almost picked this up.
This is interesting. It is very much a kid's book, but I'm flipping
Okay.
through it because I love the art and everything. They're retconning stuff in this book.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yes. There is a girl that shows up that's Cree, and she says, "Who am I? I'm a sad sack ancestor of all sad sacks." Sad sacks like their group in the book, and she's saying. She's talking about the DNA and the Terrigen Mist and how it wasn't really what we thought it was, and that the people who were experimenting had to pay for what they did. So there's like this weird backstory in the middle of a Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur about all the Inhumans story that they had done. Like, remember a few years ago where they were just trying to make them a thing?
Yeah.
They just kind of undo this in this book.
That's funny. That's funny. Somebody told me, like, I don't know if it's like it was on Twitter or something. Sometimes I'll hear chatter about like, oh, this is the hot book of the week because of like this, it's a key issue for whatever reason.
Oh, right.
And somebody mentioned this book, and I didn't know why. And I wasn't gonna get it just for that. But that makes sense. I think what you're saying, Clay, is that because of this retcon, it makes this book a little bit more important than just like. Which is kind of sucks. I don't know. Marvel shouldn't do stuff like that. Like you're gonna put out I believe it's a one shot if I'm not mistaken.
Is it a one shot? Oh, okay. Because I thought it was an ongoing series, but it's just very weird that like in a book that's obviously meant for kids, that they would have this deeper story from comics from 4 or 5 years ago that they're just trying to undo.
Yeah.
That Texas Blood. I mean, if it's a crime book, it's Ed Brubaker, and then that Texas Blood. I can't say it's the best book because I praise Brubaker all the time, but this is the second best crime book out there.
Yeah, Chris Conlon is doing some really fun work on that book.
Remind me later to ask a question related to that, but go ahead.
Oh, what?
Well, just someone on social media I follow asked what I thought was a good question, but I can't answer it. Of the Ed Brubaker and the other artists he works with on a lot of those, of all the books they put out, which one is the most noir-y?
Wow.
Yeah, probably. I know. I was like, you guys would be perfect to answer.
Maybe Pulp.
Pulp? Okay. I have read
out of the stuff I've read, probably Pulp. I'm sure the Criminal series has more noir stuff even, but I haven't read through it.
Yeah.
If you can score that Criminal, deluxe, it's got like 3 solid stories in it that are fantastic.
Is it Summer? Yeah, or I think there's one like what's it called? Bad Summer or something like that.
Let me pull them. I've got them all here. My heroes have always been junkies. I mean, like all the standalone novels to me are home runs.
Yeah.
But Pulp is a home run with a bit of comics history tied into it that pays off for comic readers.
Yeah. Okay. And because of the time era that they pick, it definitely feels the most noir to me.
Noir, yeah, exactly. Okay. I was just curious. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail.
And this is a standalone Christmas special.
Oh, nice.
So, Department of Truth, I'm behind on. Harley Quinn, this is still the Stephanie. Yeah, this is still the Stephanie Phillips run.
Is this after Task Force XX? The storyline?
Yeah, because this is the latest issue.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything on there. A new I Hate Fairyland.
Yeah, I saw that came out, but this is what happens to me. Stuff will be on the pull list, and I'm like, oh, that looks good. And then I read the description and realize, oh, this is a follow up to something I never read. So I'll skip it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and Shelby's read the first volume, and she has them in hardback, so I'm gonna go through those and start the second story.
Never read. I hit Fairyland, but I did review the first issue, and it gives you enough to like be able to read it without like. There's like this super cool spread of like kind of a summary of everything that's happened before.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So you can definitely jump on. I mean, I'm sure you'll get more out of it if you read the first version of it. But I'm pretty sure you can jump on the book. You guys have been reading comics long enough, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, just the premise was in the inside cover, and it was like, oh, okay, that's what this is.
Yeah.
Well, and then of course, like I skipped it, and then my rec from last week, that Image Teens Humble Bundle, had the first the first series in it, so I could just pick that up and also read it that way. But anyway, sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. Murder World. I actually started the first couple of pages, and it was just it didn't like jive with me. Like, I'm excited to see Arcade, but like I didn't want to see some streaming kid.
Oh, you got to get through the issue.
Okay,
You got to get through the issue. Yeah. It pays off.
Okay, good. Patton's book.
I keep meaning to pick that up.
I've got it, but I haven't read it and caught up. The first Secret Invasion I have not read, so I'm curious if this is going to be any good or if it's going to be basically what the TV show is. Fucking look at these covers.
Those are
that
amazing.
Texas Blood. This is probably my favorite cover that they've done, and every cover is pretty great. Of course, my man Moon Knight still going, and that's it. That was me trying to hold off on picking up a bunch of books because there were other books that I was missing. So,
I noticed there's not a lot of DC stuff outside of Harley. Interesting.
Yes, I pick up DC. I will read DC at the library.
Okay, that makes sense.
There is way more DC books at my local library. DC and Star Wars. Like,
interesting.
Yeah, for the Marvel stuff, they have like a ton of Star Wars.
When it's done, I will lend you Gotham City Year One because I think you will love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I usually will get the Black Label. Like this year has been Rogues, Jock's One Dark Knight, Cliff Chang's Catwoman book. So, if I'm buying DC, it's got to be worth my while.
I made a list of all the Black Label books that are released as of this year. So maybe I'll share that with you guys, and maybe we can pull out the best ones that we think, and maybe that'll be a future episode next year.
Yeah, because I would love to debate those books because Rogues versus One Dark Knight are two different art styles and stories, but both fun.
And there may be stuff that you just haven't gotten around to reading, and maybe we don't know how good it is. So I'll share the list, and we can fill in the blanks and plan something for a future show. Because I'm very intrigued to revisit, and also I don't really know what the future. It looks like the imprint's kind of here to stay because they don't really have.
Oh yeah.
Once Vertigo went away, I was like, okay, this looks like this is just going to be their Vertigo.
Well, it's like they took a stab at it with the Sandman universe and just did regular standard print.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, what if we upgrade to Black Label, make it magazine size, charge extra for it?
Yeah.
But then the quality of the creators that they're getting is a high bar.
Yeah.
But here's my question, because I'm almost at a point, and it really hit me with this. I'm almost at a point where I'm like, how is Black Label really different than regular DC stuff? I
think the main thing is that Black Label gives them license to break continuity because it's not in continuity, and that's really it.
Okay. Oh yeah, it definitely pays off in a book like Rogues.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, anything, or like the Catwoman, like anything that takes place in the future, they can really take advantage of because it's just an alternate future.
I mean, you can think of Black Label as Marvel Epic.
Ah, okay.
Remember how they would just go, oh, look, we're going to do the last Galactus story with John Byrne and spread it out over 6 issues in Epic, but it doesn't take place in the continuity.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like the marketing for Black Label may need a little kind of like reboot, because my impression is always these are the more mature, grittier stories. But again, we're getting to a point where that Venn diagram is almost becoming one circle.
Yeah.
And so it's like maybe they just need to redefine Black Label as these are the out of continuity stories, right? These are the Elseworlds.
Yeah,
basically.
But I always feel like every story is outside of continuity.
Well, I
Because
know, and that's the other thing, right? Like I'm reading Ram V's Detective Comics, and I'm like, is any of this canon right now? Like, and if it is, correct me, Danny, because I'm not reading any other Batman books.
That's a question for Ben Abernathy, the editor in the Batman office. Not for me.
Then okay, so here's a weird one. Why is Batman Fortress not a Black Label book? Because that doesn't seem to be happening in continuity.
True.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, sometimes, so what they've been doing too is like with the World's Finest series, the Batman Superman series, they just say like, "Oh yeah, this happened a while back. Don't worry about it." Like this happened sometime in the past.
Oh,
okay. I imagine Fortress is similar, where like, yeah, and so I did get. I'll get into the stuff I guess for myself. I did read Dark Crisis #7, which comes out next week, which finalizes everything. I have one big complaint, and that's that there's one page that shows us. This is how you can tell this book's been delayed to hell.
Oh no!
There's a page that addresses 3 storylines that are currently going on or already finished in the ongoing series. I was like, because I saw the art, and I was like, and the narration's like, and it'll lead to stuff like this. And then I saw the art, and I was like, "Yeah, I know. I already read that story. You just released it last week. The last part of it." So
you faced the worst spoiler of all time.
Yeah,
time itself.
It's very similar to. It feels very similar to what happened with the Secret Wars back in 2015 with Marvel, where like they did Secret Wars, and then it got so delayed that they just relaunched everything that was gonna be new. Again, right? Like
that was the one that broke me. Because the story was interesting enough, but it was took so long for it to come out, and then you're reading other stories that take place in the battle world, and those were cool, but then it didn't really tie back, and it never finished it. I think I bought all the issues and never read them.
Oh,
never finished.
You should read it. You should read it. It's an amazing story. Like if you, and I think that's what I like about Black Label and kind of how I'm taking all these events. Like I'm just taking them as standalone things that are happening, like whether they fit in continuity or not, whatever. That's me more judging the editorial and like the all that stuff than the actual storytelling.
Yeah.
So I think you should read it. Secret Wars is probably one of the best books Marvel's put out in a long time, and not just because it's Ribbick's art, is amazing, but it's just like really cool.
Hickman.
Yeah, Hickman. The Hickman Secret Wars.
I hated that book.
You did? I think
I only read the main story, and I just found it's peak Hickman in the sense that it's inscrutable. I found it made no sense, and maybe that's because I wasn't reading all the like side shit. But
you didn't have to though.
And I hate doing that. Give me just a story.
I think it's because So I think with Secret Wars, it's a big payoff if you've been reading. I mean, I guess Hickman, since he was doing Fantastic Four things, like that's when he started setting everything up, right?
Yeah.
And then he did Avengers, and then he did all the Infinity stuff. I don't know. It's a big journey. I'm sure somebody's got a really nice, big, long YouTube video about it. Not us. But I think if you remove Secret Wars, like from all the cash grabby stuff from Marvel, and just read it, that's like this one story that happened one time in the Marvel universe. I think it's really cool. I went back and read it recently, like maybe sometime this year, early in the year, and I was like, fuck, this is good. Like this is just good stuff. But without having to get bogged down with like, how does this fit in continuity, or like what came out of this, or like what was happening elsewhere, or, all that stuff. So, I think you should check it out. Maybe we'll put it on I'll make everyone read it. I'll put it on the Dallas Comic Club list for next year.
Nice.
We already made the list at the meeting.
There's still space. I could throw it in there, but you're gonna have to give me a very specific reading order.
Wow.
Just 1 through 8. That's it. Yeah.
So just read.
That's what I read. That's what I've read. That
I thought it was 9 issues.
Did the
I don't
did the
remember.
ninth come out 8 years later? Is that why?
It's coming out next year.
We're still waiting.
Okay. I guess real quick, how did you guys like JoJo?
I mean, I enjoyed it. We really didn't talk about it because I was the only one that had read it. Well, I guess me and Novel, but yeah, no one else had read it. So
I'm just not a big fan of the art.
Well, and I wanted to
You talked about
I
it.
actually said I wanted to ask you about that. Like, why? I'm curious. Is it because every male looks like a He-Man figure?
I think it's because every line is super thick, and that's not very usual for manga.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, that's what Clay said. Yeah.
Yeah, so
It
Interesting.
was
like-
very,
like
it was
my-
very pretty for the violence, and
Yeah.
that was the weirdest part of it. Was just the thin lines, the detail, and it wasn't like who does Shaolin Cowboy, that book?
Oh yeah,
Jeff
shit.
Darrows.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, like Jeff Darrows does like a specific type of explode and violence that isn't. It has it's thin line to a degree to be viewable in a full page spread, but
Mhm.
it's but that was just like the prettiest art of androgynous dudes getting their knuckles smashed and their fingers crushed, and you're just like, it's very weird.
yeah, I find the over the top stuff. I think it's really interesting and fun because that's kind of what manga is. I
Right.
like all the tropey stuff. It's just I can't handle the art for more than a few pages at a time.
Have you tried the anime? Like, I'm curious if the
No,
anime.
no, because it's the same. Like they,
Okay.
unfortunately, they've done a really good job in the adaptation, where the art doesn't change much, and especially with color. Like in color, it's even worse because like it's the brightest colors you could ever imagine. It's
Yeah, that's what was really weird too. Was just color like that seems more like in a kid's book.
yeah.
Right.
But it's really, like I said, I think the adaptation is really well done. I like the premise that every once in a while it'll kind of reboot and follow a different star or family member.
Different JoJo or
Yeah.
Joestar, yeah.
So, anyways, yeah. So, okay, I just wanted to see because I know I missed the meeting and I saw the group was popping with a bunch of people. So,
We had 4 of us. It was good.
Yeah, two
Yeah.
of us hadn't read it.
Right.
that's a good number. Okay. Well, I watched the Netflix released the Murderville holiday special. Oh my god, I had not laughed like that in a long.
Wait, is that the one with Job?
Yes,
That
Yeah.
series. Oh,
So
I didn't know
it-
they did a holiday special. That's
The
awesome.
premise of the series is that they have one guest the star every episode, and it's just like a little murder mystery. Everyone has a script except the guest. But for the special, it was an hour long, and they had 2 guests. They had Jason Bateman
Oh,
from
nice.
the beginning, and then eventually they bring in Maya Rudolph, who are
Awesome.
2 really funny people. So yeah, it's really funny. It's Christmas themed, and I making that show must be insane because
Right.
there's just a lot going on, and eventually, like the guest does have to try to figure out who did it. So they're actually writing a murder mystery every episode, and there's like some fun surprises on this one. It's about an hour long, maybe 40 minutes. It's double the size of a normal episode.
All right, that's good to hear. I'll check that out because we
Yeah,
tried
you should.
watching
I
it.
think you'll like it. Even if you never saw the original thing, it doesn't matter because these
Okay.
are all kind of like standalone.
Yeah, I mean,
episodes.
there's really no continuity except the thing with
There's a little bit of like what's his name's character. Now I just want to call him Job.
shit. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, his character just there's a few like little things that kind of keep coming back up or whatever, but it's very simple stuff. So it's nice. Will Arnett.
Arnett. Thank you.
Yeah, one of the
thought you were
best
Lego
one of the best
Batman.
Lego
One of the
Batman.
best Batman, yeah. So I watched that. That was really fun. I also, my buddy Rob and Legoland, who's sometimes in the chat, they did a Scrooge watch along. The Bill Murray movie.
Nice.
I love that movie. It is so much fun. I love Bill Murray's performance. We realized while we were watching it that Danny Elfman did the music to that and
Oh, I didn't realize that. That's
yeah,
awesome.
and of course directed by Dick Donner, right?
Yep.
So like this was almost, you can really tell a lot about like the movies they have been making. Like there's a little bit of like the Superman charm
Mhm.
in this movie, and then also from the soundtrack you can hear a little bit of like what carries over into the Batman movies once Danny Elfman, like those Trump, like the horns and stuff that he uses, like all that stuff
Is it
really moves over.
is it pre-Batman?
It is because it's from '88.
Damn.
So
All
maybe
right.
he was working on both things at the same
Yeah.
time.
Cool.
I don't know. Movies in the '80s feel like they were made real quick and a lot of drugs.
Yeah, they were.
That drug is called cocaine.
Yeah.
Wait till we get to what I've been watching.
But yeah, I love Scrooge. It was really fun to revisit it, and it's that and the Muppets is probably my favorite adaptations of the Christmas Carol story. Although I haven't watched the new Spirited thing on Apple TV, I hear that's really good too.
I kind of want to watch that. You know, it's so funny you bring it up. I just on a whim, I remembered I picked up years ago a free copy of Dickens' Christmas Carol as an ebook, and so I started reading. It's only 80 pages. It's not long.
Oh wow!
And I'm like a third of the way through it. It's interesting. I am not a fan of his writing style, but he really doubles down on the horror, which is kind of interesting because you know,
I was gonna say, he was the Mark Miller of his time, just pitching movie ideas.
That is not wrong. That is not wrong
that's a
at
great
all.
pitch, yeah.
But
Again, going back to JoJo, that takes place in the 1880s.
Yeah.
We talked about like the color usage in that, and I think we're constantly seeing the Dickensian look as black and white gray, and we don't see those colors in those clothes. And that was another reason for that just being kind of off for me, because every year we see Charles Dickens and everyone's poor and it's dirty and there's cold.
It's dirty and foggy and smoky. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, although even back then he knew that capitalism sucks. But yeah, the effects are great. Like there's a lot of like practical effects that they use in the movie, which it was probably one of the best things in the 80s. Like all those practical effects, when they were great, they looked great.
Yeah.
So I love it. Leonard came in the chat saying Spirit is fun. Yeah, I want to check it out. I'll probably watch it sometime this week now that I'm into like a little bit of the Christmas spirit. But yeah, that was fun. I rewatched Black Adam yesterday since it dropped on HBO Max.
Oh, I need to watch that.
I still had a lot of fun with it. I like it. It was really good. I was like, now that it's all happening or whatever, like maybe it won't be as much fun. Nope, I still had just as much fun. And there's a part in the middle where it gets a little long. Like there's a whole plot line where they need to get one person from one place to the other. Where I can see it's a little like I would probably cut that down a little bit now that I'm rewatching it. But yeah, other than that, I really enjoyed it again. So. And then the last thing I'll touch on, and then we'll go back to you guys. I read Jurassic League 1-6 last week.
Oh, I didn't realize it was done. Okay.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. And since I have the Infinite Ultra whatever thing, DC subscription, they're all on there now because they're only 1 month behind. Yeah, Daniel Warren Johnson, Juan Gideon. It's a little bit of it's a little disappointing that you don't get Daniel Warren Johnson's art on it. He's only writing in it. But Juan Gideon,
I had that thought too.
Juan Gideon does a really good job. My only complaint was that during issues 3 and 4, they actually have fill-in artists. Which their art is fine, but I really like what was established before and after. Yeah,
make miniseries complete before you sell them.
Yes, exactly. Or, and I'm kind of at this point because I think Saga is the best example of it. To keep the art the same, you just take a break.
Yeah.
When you need to catch up, you just take a break. Now, I can see that being hard if it's a title like Detective Comics or Amazing Spider-Man that's part of a bigger universe. But Jurassic League isn't tied to anything, so just take a break. I mean,
yeah, it might have been one of the best things this year if it had had the same artist throughout the whole thing, just because the premise is so much fun. Like these dinosaurs that are counterparts for the Justice League are trying to stop the Dark Hatchling or whatever, which is dumb and it's stupid. But I like you get to see one dinosaur suplex another one. So it's really fun. I do recommend it. I think it just, like I said, it's just probably not at the top of the 2022 list, which I'm still working on carving it out. It's gonna be an interesting stuff when we look at that stuff next month. Yeah, I think that's it. Good stuff this week though, a bunch of stuff, and we'll talk more comics whenever Josh is going through the rest of his list, because I think I read a few of those as well.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay.
That was
a segue. I screwed it up. So I, based on your guys's help, I read Invincible Iron Man #1 by Gary Duggan and Juan Frigeri.
Yeah.
Right. What'd you guys think? I'm really kind of torn on this, because on one place, no spoilers, I'm intrigued where Tony is at in his life, but it also feels like rehashing the most famous Tony Stark story ever. And I'm just kind of like, let's move him forward a little bit, you know? So what did you guys think?
I really liked it. I thought it was I like that it's extra long. I think it's like 32 pages.
It is, yeah.
So it really gives Gary Duggan the time to, like, the first few pages is just them retelling you who Tony Stark is, kind of what's been going on, like setting up, I guess, like the thesis of the character,
right?
So he can then deconstruct it in the rest of the issue and like just tear it apart. I like the conflict. I need to catch up on the Captain America book, because I know Josh made a comment if it's the same character, and I'm like, I don't know what that means, but
well, yeah, there's a moment where Cap shows up, and it's and based on the way that Cap is acting in this, I was trying to figure out if it's tied to that title.
Okay.
And this kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, like, does canon even matter anymore? I feel like I'm reading a Marvel book and another Marvel book, and I'm having trouble discerning if they overlap, right?
Yeah, I think
which on one hand is fine, but just put that on the front end, right? Just be like, this isn't a shared universe anymore. Just, you know who these characters are, go read it. And that would be fun. I would be okay with that. But
I think sometimes the way I see that is, I think it's fun when two different books make a similar connection and I know that they're connected.
Yeah.
But it doesn't bother me as much when something doesn't feel like it's connected, I guess. So, like,
okay,
unless the character's really acting like not themselves, then I'll be more likely to notice. But yeah, I don't know. I thought I like the hole that they've dug for Tony to try to get out.
Yeah.
And the art was really good. I like that. There's like I think it's in the preview pages where you see, like, after an explosion, like the mask, like the Iron Man mask, is just like stuck in a van, like from the explosion.
Yes.
And that was really cool. Like, it just shows you the impact. I like that Tony seeks help. The only person that he seeks help from is his attorney, who's a really fun surprise when they show up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I really like Gary Duggan, what he's been doing for a long time with the X-Men. So I was very intrigued.
I like his independent writing. You know, he did a run at Guardians is pretty good too.
Yeah. I mean, and I think he has one of the more famous Deadpool runs. So, like, I think Gary Duggan knows what he's doing. So, but yeah, hopefully it maintains, or maybe it gets better for you, Josh. I don't know.
I'll stick with it. I may need to just reread it, because I really did the kind of surprise turn it takes towards the end was compelling, and I was like, oh god, this is dark, you know. So yeah. But I I think if it had just stuck with that and maybe hadn't immediately gone to the other thing that is rehashing a classic Iron Man story, I would have been more invested. That just felt like I get what Duggan's doing, but I don't understand why, right? So
yeah, I think what I appreciated about that is that I feel like in comics sometimes like some of these afflictions or addictions like they get like they're only useful for the story, but they don't really show like in real life you deal with that shit your whole life.
right. That's a really good point. Yeah.
Right. So,
Like
so,
it never goes away.
Right. So it's
yeah.
interesting that sometime every once in a while it will come back and like, oh shit, I forgot. Like Tony is dealing with all this stuff, right? So I don't know. That's what I found interesting about it. But I hope it's not just like this like leaning on the trope of like yeah. So it depends how it's handled, but I trust Gary Duggan.
Okay. All right. No, that reassures me, and that's a really good point. There is something about bringing that back up as it's a continual thing.
Yep.
Really quickly, I'll just say because I haven't read these two yet, but I picked them up.
Oh no.
I picked up Gospel number 2. I enjoyed issue 1, and I really love the art in this. The art is it's both written and drawn by Will Morris.
Yep.
I think I need to reread the first issue because I opened up to read this and I'm like, oh fuck, I don't know what's happening. Like I was completely
befuddled. The first issue ends really weird when they do some kind of like time skip.
Yeah, that's right. So I don't know. So I need to reread it. I'll read it. I'm kind of getting the feeling this may be a you read it collected sort of thing.
I think so.
Okay.
Too.
I'm glad that was not just me then.
Wait, did you pull yourself out accidentally? Your computer crashed? Oh, I'm sorry.
It'll cycle and then come back up. So
I wasn't sure because it looked like almost you took yourself out of the studio but yeah. Anyways, let's talk about the other book because I really want to talk about that.
I mean, I just read the description of this, and I guess my impression is this came out before and it's being reissued, but Art Brut.
Yes.
I read the description. I'm like, well, I have to read this. I mean, how could I not? There you go.
Whoa.
Good cover.
Look at that. Awesome. It is so cool. I love how like this is by the same team that does Ice Cream Man.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that book's already like very meta when it comes to some commentary. But yeah, tell us a little bit about. I'll tell you what I thought of the book because I did read Art Brut.
I realize now as I opened it, I read the first 4 pages, which I think is one of the best setups I've read in a while. It's really good. Again, I don't want to spoil it, but
well, have you been to the Louvre?
I have not actually. Okay. No, we were in Paris this summer, but it was so hot we couldn't get over there. So, but yeah, no, I've not seen like the Mona Lisa in person. I've seen tons of like photos and videos, and they do a good job here. It's not a big painting, and they kind of remark on that in the opening. So,
okay, that's funny. Okay, I await your thoughts, Clay. I'll send you the review copy for Art Brut. I think you'll enjoy it as well.
Okay, thanks.
Because Morasso and W. Maxwell Prince, they did this before Ice Cream Man, so I can see like. As I read it, I could see a lot of the seeds and stuff that they do in Ice Cream Man later on. So
is it a shared world or
no? It's not. It's different. Okay. Well, as far as I know, as of this point, it's not. But they did do another. Oh, Maxwell Prince did another series called Haha, which was kind of like an anthology. That one did end up having an Ice Cream Man tie-in later on. So
interesting. Okay.
I mean, they can with Ice Cream Man. The series is so weird that you can really do whatever you want with it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys think because I really enjoyed it. I think it's such a silly premise, and I'm sure it's been done before. Like with I think who was it that did? Was it Allred that they're like I think Art Ops or something?
Art Ops. I had the exact same thought when I read this description. It does feel very Art Ops.
Yeah. So Clay, if you've read that, I've heard that. Maybe you'll enjoy this as well. It feels a little procedural, which I enjoy a little bit because I love procedurals. But there's a big difference on it. So Yeah, cool. We'll probably talk about this more maybe on the next show once you guys get to read the actual issue
When did it come out originally?
this week. Oh, originally, I
Yeah.
don't know. I hadn't heard of it.
Because
and make sure to read. So all these have a little.
Trying to see.
They have the continuing, and I think it came out in this format instead, like the continuing adventures of Art Brute.
Okay.
I love his sidekick. It's really, really fun. As a budding artist, I appreciate it. The sidekick.
This is psychic. Well, and so I'll just wrap up. I watched two things this week. One was, and I totally forgotten I'd watched the first half of it until I was like halfway through it. But it's on Prime. So if you have Prime, it's on there. It was also on sale, so I bought it for like $5. But the documentary called Eye of the Beholder, and it's a history of the art of D&D. And I will say this: if you've read this book, which came out, oh god, I can't get it out; it's too big. There's a book that came out maybe 2 years ago called Art and Arcana that is a history of D&D art. I think that book is better.
Is that the Kyle Newman book?
I don't think so. Hang on. Oh god, it's just jammed in here. It's at my bottom shelf. It barely fits. Come on, you can do it. There we go.
Don't hurt yourself.
I almost did. No, it's it is Kyle Newman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Michael Whitmer. This is an amazing book. It's really, really good. I like it a lot. The advantage of the documentary is the interviews with people. And I saw some criticisms online I don't agree with. Some people criticize that they only wanted the interviews with the actual artists. It is primarily that, but there's also a lot of interviews with fans talking about like how the art of D&D has influenced them or impacted them. And I found those really, really great as well.
Okay, cool.
What is amazing is hearing the stories, and they really, I mean, how in God's name is Brahm younger than I ever thought? In my brain, Brahm is like the same age as Frank Frazetta, and he's not. He's a young guy. He's got to be maybe just a little older than we are. Anyway, I was totally taken away with it. It's not long. It's like maybe 90 minutes. Not the best documentary I've ever seen, but a fun one if you just want a 90-minute watch.
It is free on Tubi and free on Pluto TV.
Oh, perfect. Nice. Yeah. Oh, good to know. So yeah, go check that out. And then I also, and you guys will laugh at me, I finally watched, because my brother bought it, so I watched it on his Apple account. I finally watched Clerks 3. You guys have all seen it, right?
Snoogans.
Man, I'm almost embarrassed to say the end of that movie destroyed me. Like, I was just openly weeping. I was like, oh my God, the end of that movie it's like, I liked Jay and Bob Reboot. I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was trying to do some stuff.
Yeah.
Clerks 3 is a whole other level. And what I find really interesting about Clerks 3 is it's really not super funny. Like, I didn't walk away thinking there's any memorable lines. The one thing I will say is I loved Elias's character progression, because I didn't like him in Clerks 2 at all. And watching him transform into something different, and not only does clearly his outward appearance change, but his attitude changes. I liked seeing that actor kind of be able to like flex a bit and do that. Anyway, it is I think one of the best ways to round out that original run.
Yeah.
I am curious though. So did you guys all listen to the end credit scene, which is the voiceover by Kevin Smith during the last half of the credits?
No.
Okay. Go back and just jump to the credits and get to the point. Kevin Smith hops on, and it's just a VO, but he's talking about how important the film was for him and how much it is kind of like a a tribute to his fans, which is very lovely and very nice. But he also talks about what the original ending was going to be. And I kind of felt like that undercut the ending that we got. Right?
Yeah. I mean, because it seems like it took him this long to kind of get to the point that he wanted to make it his first film.
Right. Which I kind of knew that was coming from the moment that you get the very little, which Amy Sedaris kills it in her one role. She's so good as the doctor.
But let's talk about Brian O'Halloran for a second.
Yes.
He has a scene at the gravesite that is probably the best performance in a Kevin Smith film ever.
I will 100% agree with you. And I think it's so remarkable seeing both him and Randall develop as actors, because let's be clear, in the original Clerks, the actor playing Anderson is a much better actor than O'Halloran, right? Like he is.
Yeah.
They both carry the day in this movie. They are both really, really, really good. And O'Halloran, like, in that scene at the gravesite. And the other thing I love about it is, because I just rewatched Clerks 2, I want to know how he and oh god, I'm blanking on her name, who plays his wife.
Swabach, Jennifer?
No.
Who's Rosario Dawson?
Yes, thank you. They have the best chemistry together.
They do.
And it's it's a very natural nothing feels forced with them. And I want to know how they develop that, because to me, that was the premium moment of Clerks 2, is watching them engage. And it carries over into Clerks 3.
Yeah.
Every scene of the two of them together is just gold. Oh, I'm sorry.
The dancing on top of the movies.
Yep.
When they dance. Oh yeah, that I was like, oh, it's great. I buy it. I mean, so
yeah, they are natural together.
No, when they were in the office together and he's painting her toenails, that's a relationship on a whole different level. Yeah. And the shift of his character when she's there, as opposed to having to deal with the nitwits out front, right. He's very relaxed with her.
Yeah.
Brian O'Halloran, man, it really blew me away in Clerks 3, and probably one of my favorite performances of the year.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I feel like every cast member brought their A+ game to that movie. Every single person, even the people. And I love the fact that Smith brings back nearly every single person. So like the lady in the video store, I forget the guy's name. He's kind of canon in the Askew universe, but the guy with the girl commenting in the original film about how Dante grunts when he picks up the milk carton, right? They're there, and they question what they were saying about the Asian design major. All that was great. I also really loved it. Anyone else pick up? There are two Clerks animated callbacks in the movie.
No.
Okay, one is pretty obvious, and that's at the end when Schwalbach's character shows up, basically trying to claim Dante's side of ownership, and then they pay her off, and she goes, "Well played, Clerks," right? So that's one. The other one is, I'm convinced, when Amy Sedaris' doctor shows up, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I just came from a costume ball." Which is what happens in the best scene ever in Clerks Animated, when they keep having the officials give the news conferences, and one is dressed as Mayor McCheese, and the other one shows up and he's dressed as some other McDonald's character, and both of them are like, "Yes, sorry, we were at the same costume party, and both of our zippers got caught." And so I really liked the way that he pretty subtly threw in these nods to the animated shows, so that it's not a forgotten entity anymore. So
good. I may have to revisit it then.
It's great. It's great. Bring tissues, man. God. Oh, the end of that movie. It just gets me.
Yeah. And it's Kevin's stories have always been about friendship. That's really it. And I'm glad he did 3 as opposed to the first one, because the first one is a very Gen X ending. It's like, you live, you die, who gives a shit about you? It's kind of a whatever type statement.
Right.
But with this, it's like it's the journey. It's
Yeah.
always been the journey and the people that you go on that journey with, and that's the really cool part, because as they make those references to the things we've watched, he's just rewarding the fans who've been with him through all of them, through Tusk, through Yoga Hosers, through everything. But
Well, and
that's
and
the
I
Gen
love-
X story, though.
yes, I mean, can you imagine if the original ending of Clerks had been the one they used? We would never have gotten 2 and 3. We would never have gotten Elias or Rosario Dawson's character, who for some reason the name just keeps.
I think it's Claire. Is it
Becky.
Claire?
Becky.
Oh,
Becky. That's right.
Claire's the night nurse. Never mind.
Well,
I also really love the cameos.
yeah.
When they're casting the
I
movie.
did not realize that was Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah,
it
yeah.
was. I thought it was someone else entirely. So
And-
that was fun.
And then I always like, I know Ben Affleck and Kevin Smith worked together for a long time, and sometimes I feel like Ben Affleck might have moved on from that relationship, but then he comes back and does silly shit in this movie still,
Yeah.
and I'm like, no, they really are good friends. Like,
That's
And-
what I love, is seeing him just kind of getting grounded and coming back and doing a
Yeah,
Kevin Smith
yeah.
movie
Yeah,
for
exactly.
the laughs, because
Yeah.
it's great. I mean, he was a great fucking villain in Mallrats too.
Yes. And can I just say, I now desperately want Melissa Benoist to do some sort of comedy, because I was laughing my ass off the 2 times she shows up in that scene. I was just dying. I'm like,
It
oh
took
my
me. I had to
God.
look it up because I did not recognize her.
She was one of the few, because I would say half the people I did not recognize. I got Suppley because his is pretty obvious.
Yeah, I mean,
But
he's
hers,
totally
I
had a
paused and I'm
change.
like, is that Supergirl? I'm like, I'm pretty, because they met when Smith directed some CW shows, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
anyway, it was great. It was so good.
We'll
let's
do a
talk more
full
about it when
Kevin
we-
Smith Clerks episode, because
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll-
everybody here is Gen X, but I want to hear the millennial perspective.
Yeah.
Well, I love the Clerks movies for sure. Everything else Kevin Smith is hit or miss, but the Clerks one, for some reason, they all hit. They all connect
yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
for a
the
while
first-
though, Clerks 2 I wouldn't revisit. I don't remember why, and I think it was just sometimes I felt like they would lean too hard into the pop culture arguments that I guess I got tired of, with the internet and everything.
Yeah.
But there's a sweetness to Elias's love for those things that makes it worthwhile, because that's really the person you want to defend, is the person who honestly deep down loves that no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
All right.
all right, I'll stop waxing on about Clerks 3. It was
We'll have a whole dedicated Kevin Smith show.
Oh,
All right, Clay. Let's finish up, round out your list, and then we'll move on to. I guess we don't really have a main topic, but we do have some other things we want to chat about.
Yeah. I've been watching The Great North, the animated series that's on Hulu.
Yeah, by the creator of Bob's Burgers, right?
Yeah, it's just really fun background. It's oh my God, I can't even think of it. Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec doing,
Right.
doing the main voice,
Nick-
and Nick Offerman.
Offerman, thank you.
Yeah. And so if you just enjoy a good, funny cartoon in the background, you don't have to be like watching it constantly. The Great North, and plus it starts up the second half of its 3rd season in January. So new episodes coming. I watched The Muppet Family Christmas from 1984.
Nice.
Have y'all seen this?
A long time ago.
I don't think that's one of the Muppets I've seen.
This was the first mega crossover. This was their end game, because it's Muppets, it's Sesame Street, it's Fraggle Rock, it's all of them coming together in one holiday special, and it just made me feel like a kid again.
Which one dies? I hope it's not Gonzo.
Dies.
I am Gonzo. He died.
Now I have to make a Gonzo puppet and film that, because that would
And
be
then,
awesome.
and
Yeah.
then how very Ben Wyatt of you. And then what's the name? What's the name of the little chicken?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, the little chicken shows up when Gonzo's about to die.
I got to look this up now.
Yeah, I don't remember the chicken's name, but I know the chicken has a name. Have you guys watched Krampus?
Yes.
No.
Speaking of Ben Wyatt.
Yeah, speaking of Ben Wyatt, Krampus is a great holiday movie. It is so much fun.
Interesting.
It is the origin or telling of how Krampus comes about with a family, and it's Toni Collette. But it's weird watching Toni Collette in anything anymore because Hereditary has just broken my mind forever. So when I see her, I just see this one scene that's stuck in my mind forever of what she does to herself in Hereditary. And if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But she's really, I mean, both them are the parents, and it's a family that's just kind of broken at Christmas. And you get almost a setup that's like a Cousin Eddie type comes in and their family, and nobody gets along. And then Krampus comes for them all. And it's just, I love it. And then even the ending, like Michael Dougherty helped produce and make this. And if you love the Trick or Treat series or anthology that's at Christmas, check out Krampus.
Well, he directed it.
Oh, he directed it too.
Yeah.
I thought he was just executive producer.
No, he directed it. He did Trick or Treat, which also amazing movie. I think they this year they finally released it in theaters for like a little bit.
Yeah.
He also did Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
What?
And that was unexpected, but okay.
Yeah, I was looking through his IMDb. I was like, if this was an SAT question of like which one of these doesn't belong with the group.
Yeah.
I want to take that SAT. I would do worse. You know what holiday movie popped into my head recently that I want to revisit, but I'm worried it does not hold up? The Ref.
Oh, yeah, with is it Kevin Spacey?
No,
Kevin Spacey. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Because of that. It's Kevin Spacey. I can't remember her name. Judith. That's not right. But then it has Dennis Leary as the criminal.
Judy Davis.
Judy Davis. Oh, I was right. It is Judy. And yeah, as the criminal. I remember seeing that in the theater and really enjoying it. But that was, again, that was what? Like probably 94. 94. Okay. So I feel like it's very dated at this point. But I would be intrigued. I don't know.
I might check it out.
Have you seen
not
it?
Streaming free anywhere? No, I've never.
I was about to look. So shit. All right.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to sit here and talk about Krampus. Last night, Joe Bob had his Halloween special, Ghoul Tied Together. And I needed Danny in here to pull up all the links that I put in there because there's a website where because I don't want to break my computer by just trying to pull up a website and share it. But ghoultiedtogether.com has a lot. Yeah, if you can pull that up and share it, they're doing bidding for all kinds of great shit that's going to the March of Dimes. It's going to a lot of good charities, but you can check out the charities and the auctions that they have on there. One of them is probably, I don't know, there are two that are pretty great because I love Joe Bob and I love Darcy the Mail Girl. But
I'm sorry. Is it Ghoul Tide Gathering?
Ghoul Tide Gathering. Okay. Yes, that's it. I'm sorry. I put the link.
No, it's all right. I went to the other one and it was like a landing page to buy it. GhoulTideGathering.com.
Ghoultide.
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you could share that page, it just has some really cool things you can get. One of them is like a wrestling event that you can go to a taping of with Chris Jericho, and you just hang out with Darcy and Joe Bob.
Oh,
while that taping is going on, you're just hanging out with them. I'm not a big wrestling fan. I would just enjoy talking movies with them, but it's like you do the wrestling event and you go out to dinner with them afterwards, and Chris Jericho too. And I was like, I need a job and some money. If anyone wants to buy this for me.
My search is failing me. Let me try this again. Ghoul Tide.
Do you not see the link in the show notes?
Oh, hang on. Let me. I'm being stupid. Let me.
I put 3 links in there, and it should be the one because the other 2 are the trailers from the movies he showed last night.
There, Ghoul Tide Get Together. That's what I was getting wrong. Okay, I got it.
God, I need my glasses and my monitor.
There we go. All right. Me share.
Another one is Joe, Bob, and Darcy will show up at your house and take your family to Cracker Barrel.
That's amazing.
And I gotta read the fine print because it says if there is not a local Cracker Barrel, other restaurants will have to be submitted. So
that's amazing.
I have a question on that.
Yeah.
Will they pay some kind of production cost to get a reservation? Because I'm not sitting an hour outside of Cracker Barrel hanging out with them.
Yeah, I know. Every Cracker Barrel's always packed.
But what you want to be is in the store on the inside hanging out with them, because I guarantee that's got to be fun, right? I want the two of them to be like playing around with those old timey toys.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, if you go to the website, they have items you can bid on. They showed last night. They had.
Can you see this? I have it.
Yeah.
Up on,
You want me to? Oh, let me. I was gonna ask you if you wanted me to add it to the stream or if that was something for later.
Oh no! You had stepped away, so.
Oh whoa! We went into infinity. Okay, let
holy
me keep
shit!
sharing.
We saw the multiverse.
Oh.
Every
Yeah,
other
very
clay
dark
is doing
story.
better than me. Holy shit! I'm the worst clay.
So now you have to go into every other multiverse and kill them. To gain
Yes,
their powers.
that's right. That's right. That's how that works. So yeah, it's GhoulTideGetTogether.com.
Yeah, and so they've got stuff you can get, hoodies and stuff, and all of this is for charity. There's an autographed Elvira book, just lots of cool things. If you want to thumb through the website and look at some of the things, there's stuff you can buy and stuff you can bet on.
Cool.
But last night he did two great horror films. One from 1984 that looks like there was a lot of drugs involved, called Don't Open Till Christmas. And I have the trailer linked if you want to show it, Daniel.
Here, I'll stop sharing. There we go.
Let me put it on the phones.
Yeah, because the other one's a more recent horror film called A Christmas Horror Story from 2015 that stars William Shatner.
I love it.
So
Love it.
If you want to watch the 84 trailer or the 2015 trailer,
let's
I
watch
think
the
the
old
84 one will be the weird one.
Yeah, I rather watch old trailers. We're less likely to get hit with copyright.
Well, the Christmas Horror Story has Krampus in it, and so I'm kind of curious because I didn't stay up and watch that last night. I just got to watch Don't Open Till Christmas, which is really super creepy. A lot of nudity, a lot of prostitutes, very grungy New York, and it's just all on display in this.
Wow.
Let's see how many prostitutes we get in this one. All right. Let me know if y'all can hear that.
The HD trailer is higher res than the
People who
film.
brought you Friday the 13th. Now comes Don't Open Till Christmas.
Oh shit!
Holy shit! Holy shit! They opened with that!
Oh my God!
I should have watched this.
His death toys are a spear, a gun, an open razor, a dagger, or a garrote. Execution by any means.
Let me take off this hat.
Christmas. Some Santa Clauses ignore the warnings. He surely wouldn't have.
Oh my God! Of course.
It's not in 3D.
Don't Open Till Christmas with special guest star Carolyn Monroe.
Am I supposed to be super excited about Carolyn Monroe? I don't know who that is.
Is there only one guest star?
Terror drives one Santa Claus into a house of wax.
How's the wax?
Amidst the
I
wax
mean,
and plaster, a real body, warm flesh, wet
They're
blood.
showing nudity in the trailer.
Wow, that's amazing.
Possible reason could I have for going around killing Santas? Oh, none. No.
that guy did it.
That's Johnny Osborne?
So, Santa, did you bring me any presents?
I'm not the real one.
starring Edmund Purdom, who knows there are only 3 more killing days till Christmas.
Yeah, that guy did it for sure.
Don't open till Christmas. If you do, you may not see in the new year.
All right. Well, I should have previewed that.
Yeah, Clay.
1984, best year of cinema or greatest year of cinema?
I'm gonna ask Legoland if they've seen this because seems right up that alley. Okay. Wow. Thanks, Clay.
I told you, I couldn't believe they opened with the scene that was the darkest part of the movie, and it goes further because when I saw that, I was like, this is like, if you're Santa in this movie,
You guys grew up in this shit?
Yep. Yep.
Hey,
I
man,
know.
get
That's
it.
what, I mean, this is why USA Up All Night existed, right? If you
Yeah.
had cable in the late 80s, you just on Friday and Saturday nights, you watched Up All Night.
or
And
Monster Vision with Joe Bob.
yeah, exactly. Well, hell, Elvira came around at the same time. I mean, everything that what this is doing is a callback to just what we grew up with in the 80s. So
Yeah.
Oh,
And again, this
that's-
was a guy who had been making porno at the time, taking a stab at making a horror movie, and all he knew was like porn stars. So there's most of the victims and women in this
So-
film.
So that guest star is not a real singer?
She is a real singer.
Oh, okay.
And they make a big deal about the music in that scene, and it is probably one of my second favorite horror films soundtracks, because that is just so 84 right there. and it's Canadian, so it's like 10 years before, so it's really like disco in Canada in the 80s.
right.
Oh, what is it? What do they call? What's the
Canuck
Canucks exploitation? I think like
exploitation. Yeah.
because they did it in a period of time where Canada was giving like tax credits to filmmakers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
So they could
cool.
make movies, and they could make them quick and cheap.
Yeah, I know that only because I listened to a podcast called They Made Another One, and the guys are from Canada, and they talk about that stuff. I'm pretty sure one of the hosts has seen this stuff. They used to stay up all day too, like in whatever the equivalent of USA Up All Night in Canada is, where they just show like all these weird movies.
Leonard Kim in the chat.
chat. Yeah.
Come on.
Very cool.
Hey,
Yeah,
I wear my
same
Gen
here.
X badge proud. I got my latchkey.
Yep.
And you know what?
Same, Leonard.
We're going to be the ones who survive, because we're the ones who can, during the pandemic, just isolate better than anyone else. I'm still isolating.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I think millennials are pretty good at it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all weren't left at home for hours and hours like we were. We can figure
Yeah.
out shit.
Man, entire summers I was home alone with my brother. So
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, how do you explain like?
Wait. I like when you said home alone with my brother.
Well, yeah, but like
but you didn't. I mean, we would
No,
do
I get it.
together. but then
I'm
we
the
would do
older
stuff
brother,
together.
so I'm basically in charge of a child. You know, that's the
Yeah,
other
that was
aspect of it.
me.
Same
That
here.
was
We
me.
grew up. We would stay. We were latchkey kids too, and yeah, same here. We were just at the apartment by ourselves, and
Yeah.
and then somebody let us watch The Fresh Prince, and we wanted to try out the flambe thing, and you know, sometimes things don't go well. No, nothing bad happened. It was just
Oh shit.
oil, grease everywhere in the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
We were at home alone, and all we could do was watching Don't Open Until Christmas. That's all we could do. But again, horror movies were cheap and on cable readily, so you could just
Yeah.
watch all these, and I think that's why Gen X has such a love for horror.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's how you.
Light this candle, huh?
I think Homelander may be a Gen Xer after.
I don't make mistakes. I'm not just like the rest of you. I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better. I am better.
No,
I've got to watch that show.
You do, man, you do.
I've been putting it off because I want to read the comic, but I feel like I should just watch
Oh
it.
no, it's two totally different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Don't read the comics. The comics are actually bad, from what I
Yeah,
hear.
yeah. Yeah, they pivoted a lot to make that TV show work.
Okay. All right. Well,
Did y'all
that's good.
see? Did y'all see the Homelander special collector editions cards that they launched this week after
After Trump did his.
after a former politician also did it?
That's
It's so
awesome.
good.
That's
Well,
so
they
great.
said that Homelander is basically that dickhead. So
Right. Right.
All right. Clay, was
Gen
that it?
X.
Was that it, Clay?
Yeah.
All right. Before we get into talking a little discussion, I have a little something. So I
Oh.
bought this a while back from
Yes.
Mondo. I don't remember what it is. I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is, but I'm not sure. I got it a couple days ago, and I saved it. I saved it because I figured we could open it this week. So I'm glad we had a show. Otherwise, I would have been very upset at you guys for making me wait for nothing.
You would have just sat on it until January.
No, I would have opened it before.
Oh,
If
good,
we didn't have a
good,
show
okay.
today, I would have opened it. But I figured it'd be nice to do it on stream. Make sure I don't cut a finger off or something.
Yeah, or the
big reveal.
Or the poster.
Hey,
Yeah, maybe
I
should
hope
do
it's
that.
pornography so no one talks about the stuff that I put on the show today.
No, it's definitely. I love Mondo pornography. It's my favorite product they sell.
Well, did y'all see Mondo had a live stream this week where they were giving away stuff?
No.
I missed
Yeah,
that.
they have like a drawing system while they're live that like they'll give you like a keyword to type in, and when you type it in, it enters you into a drawing.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
And then all
yeah.
the names will cycle on the screen, and then they pick one, and they set out like a Godzilla statue. That the box, like the guy picked up the box and then filled up his screen. It was so
Oh
It
my
is-
god.
It is exactly what I thought it was going to be.
All right.
So hold on.
Is it-
Oh, it's gonna be Justice League. I'm
Is it Zack Snyder related? I'm
Yes.
really curious.
Get out of it. Get out of there.
All right, let's see it. Reveal time. Oh,
Oh, I was wrong.
nice. Oh,
That
that's
is
a beautiful
awesome.
poster.
It's the Francavilla poster that he did.
Nice.
I forgot about this.
Dude, he
I'll
is
post
great
I'll post
fucking-
pictures on social media, but I saw him post about it the other day, and I was like, I don't remember if I got to order mine or not. So
That
it
reminds
came
me,
in like the best too. Like this thing is thick.
Yeah, they do. I mean, well, it's screen printed, right? So they do an amazing job.
I need to figure out how big it is so I can go get a frame. Maybe I'll put it next to Superman.
There you go.
You know, I have another one of these that's a Batman v Superman one, like this size. My buddy Abraham used to run screenings, like fan screenings, back in the day. And I guess he just had posters left over, and he gave them to me, and I was like, all right. And,
Oh,
happening.
hold on. There we go.
Studio's falling apart.
All right. So let's see. We do have, well, I mean, with the news that we got today. Oh, all right. I guess I'll put you guys up. Oh, we have a comment. Let's see.
I just
So
went to
Noah-
Mondo's site to see if I could order the Batman soundtrack on vinyl, and it's sold out. Damn it.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Oh, well, we do have Lego in the chat. We just watched the trailer for Don't Open Till Christmas from 1984. If you're familiar with that movie, let us know in the chat, because holy shit.
I bring the weird, and apparently
That was an
some boobs.
experience. That was an experience for sure.
That trailer opening, holy shit!
Yeah, exactly.
That
Yeah, I was not expecting
yeah, me
that
either.
at all.
I never air anything I put in the chat unless we
We
rewatch it.
reviewed it. Oh, Lego has seen Don't Open Till
Oh,
Christmas.
No, I don't think. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They have. Yeah. Oof, it is. It was. I was not ready for that trailer this early in the morning.
Yeah, there you go. I think Joe Bob just played.
Yeah, that's why Clay
Yeah.
brought it up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Push that.
But I am worried about Shudder. Shudder is part of
Ooh.
AMC, and AMC had layoffs, and they got rid of the guy that was running the fucking show.
Oh no.
Yeah, Craig Engler had been running Shudder, and they made a bunch of layoffs, and he was part of it, and it just absolutely sucks. I don't know if Joe Bob will be returning. They do two really kind of like, they typically buy movies, but they have two live, or not live, but I guess people that they use for shows like Joe Bob and the Boulay Brothers, because they do horror drag. And I'm just worried that those will be things that get cut by AMC if they're looking to just cut numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
They
like
a
Shudder.
lot.
I usually get Shudder like once a year.
Yeah, it's totally worth it for Halloween and just watch everything that they have available. But like there's a ton of Rotten Tomatoes movies from this year that are horror based.
Yeah.
They all say from Shudder that are, that he helped bring in, and he lost his job.
Ooh, Possession.
Interesting.
Or if you, I know it's not exactly the same Shudder, but you get a lot of Shudder if you get the AMC Plus.
Oh yeah.
So if you want to get into that whole Anne Rice Immortal universe that they're doing over at AMC, or if you have 15 seasons of Walking Dead to catch up on, it might be worth to get. I do want to watch the last episode of The Walking Dead. I feel like I could just watch that on its own without having watched I read the book.
Yeah,
I
that
know
makes
how hard. Oh, okay. So you can have Shudder. I wasn't sure if it was the full Shudder through AMC Plus. That's good.
Yeah,
I
because
think it's like $1 or $2 more.
yeah, because I know that Mark has AMC Plus, but he never can see the Joe Bob stuff.
Interesting.
Maybe they have updated it since.
I
Who knows?
do like. Well, I'll pose this to you guys. If worst comes to worst and Shudder shutters, haha, you're welcome.
All right, show's over.
Yeah, I'm out. Can Joe Bob and Darcy basically pull in MST3K and just go independent? Is that something you guys would all pay for?
I would pay just to see him, and I've tweeted to Shudder I pay for Joe Bob. I can see these horror movies a lot of other places. I love, I buy a lot because, or I don't buy a lot anymore, but mainly the Steel books. But there are a lot of free services out there. I mean, Roku has a horror channel that you can find. There's a horror channel on Pluto that's free. I mean, and so they do have some on-demand movies that you can pick through. But again, the reason I get Shudder is the community.
Yeah.
And that community is tied around Joe Bob and Darcy, and then seeing them bringing in things that I'm not going to see on other channels like the Boulay Brothers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tubi's been picking up a lot, and Tubi's been buying a lot of horror movies, and you gotta weed through a lot to get to it. But Tubi has a lot of options, especially for being free, that are pretty surprising that's on their channel.
Interesting.
Cool. Well, we do have, speaking of bad choices, hey, what a segue.
Okay.
Speaking of companies in disarray, we do have one question that was posted, or just to kind of start, not really closing out the show, but just kind of
a little debate issue.
We don't have
anything.
We don't have a big main topic or anything today because we just had a lot of stuff to catch up on. If Kyle had been here, we would have done full 2 hours of just us talking about our old stuff. But as you can see, as I mentioned at the opening of the show, the reason I put my poster up is as my silent protest of the decisions that have been made. And I know James Gunn warned us that not everyone will be happy with the decisions that they make going forward. I just didn't think I would be one of those people that was not happy.
Welcome to Crisis.
But
James Gunn is the anti-monitor?
Yeah, so I think maybe. Or he's Pariah.
He is Pariah. He actually kind of looks like Pariah. Yeah, so I posed the question, will James Gunn ruin the DCEU? And I've had such a 180 this week. Because, and if you remember last week, I even posed this. I said, if Cavill left The Witcher to be Superman and ends up not being Superman, I will be livid. And God damn it, I am livid.
Well, I do want to clarify, and I don't think Cavill I don't think that was the only reason Cavill left The
True.
Witcher.
Right? Yeah, no, that's true.
He left because they just realized they just released an updated version of The Witcher 3, so he's got to go play that.
I got that actually. I just downloaded it.
Yeah, my brother did too. He told me. He told me, and it was free. Like apparently,
yeah, you just
CD Projekt Red just completely free upgraded you.
I stuck my disc in, and that sounds dirty.
No,
I stuck my disc in, and it popped up and said, "There's an upgrade available. Do you want it?" I'm like, "Yeah." So,
who uses a disc anymore? I'm just kidding. I love physical. You guys, okay? You guys know I love physical media. But yeah, yeah, it was very unexpected. Now there's still a lot of stuff in. We're not gonna like speculate on how much The Rock hard bullied everyone into having that cameo at the end of Black Adam. But I don't know. What do you guys think, Clay? I feel like you're on James Gunn's side for like.
I am on his side because I believe he knows story, and I believe he knows heart and what works, and that's. I mean, he went from trauma to this job, and by good reasoning, by telling good stories and working with what he had. And that's what trauma shows you. Work with what you have and tell the best story. And he was able to elevate that to the point where he was writing a script for a zombie movie and for a Scooby-Doo movie, and a Scooby-Doo movie that did very well, that was able, like, he's working with what he has. So he's worked with properties before. Mm-hmm. And I mean, and if you watch those Scooby-Doo, they're fun. They do have the adult jokes that the cartoons don't have, the Mary Jane references and the pot stuff, because I love my Shaggy as a stoner.
Right.
And I just love what he did with Guardians. I mean, that's just what he's done with that has just been close to my heart, and I just absolutely love it. And he loves this world. So I want to see what he wants to do. I'm curious why he needs a younger Superman. Yeah, that's kind of a weird question, because I mean, you do have a guy who loves the role and wants to be there. To me, I think you double down on it. You bring in Brandon Routh, you bring in your TV Superman, you bring in every Superman you have except Dean Cain, and it's the beginning of a crisis. And that's what, and you reverse engineer the DC universe. You start with a crisis that has the Arrowverse, the Stargirl universe. You have all these, and you have cameos, but I want to see all those Supermen working together to try to save a world and then lose them.
Yeah.
What does that do? And then as those multiverses collapse, suddenly we have a group of heroes and villains, and we're not sure who's heroes and villains anymore. And you can start retelling those stories.
I do feel. Oh, go ahead, Josh. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, so counterpoint, because I do agree with you. I think Gunn is a great storyteller, a great filmmaker. He's really good taking niche things and elevating them in a way. Again, Suicide Squad, Guardians, he's very good at taking these things that I think the general public would go, huh? And then loving them, right? Where my turn occurred is, first off, I want him to stop answering people's questions on Twitter. Shut the fuck up.
Right? Yeah, you don't own that. You don't owe that 12-year-old your voice or your time.
Just stop.
First of all, that's definitely some 45 to angry.
Yeah, but you know what? The internet, like, that's the thing. It's like growing up with the internet. Like, you realize that sometimes the voice on the other end of that argument is just a 12-year-old kid, and you just go, just don't fucking argue on the internet. Like,
right?
And he feels like he responds to everyone, and I just am like, dude, that is the least. That's the last thing you should be doing.
Well, and stuff while you're on the toilet, play
the game. Marvel Snap, game of the year. It's perfect. So that's one. Two is they are making the same mistake again with Gunn that they made with Snyder. When the DCEU started getting good was when they recognized we don't need an overarching leader or vision. Let's give everything its own kind of tone and direction and so on. And I think the moment that did it was when the news broke that Gunn is personally writing the next Superman movie.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, Gunn won't give us the Batman that's not really in his wheelhouse. And so it's like, if he and Safran had come in and said, okay, what the DCEU needs is not us as creators, but we're as the Feige of this, we need to go find the creators to do this. And instead, I feel like Gunn has stepped in and he's like, I'm the creator, right?
Yeah.
And it just worries me. And
Yeah.
again, I like Gunn a lot, but I'm like, either surprise me with what it is, so shut the fuck up on Twitter, or you know, because Cavill wants to be Superman so bad, and we like him, and he's never gotten a good Superman story.
And neither has Brandon Routh.
Neither has Brandon Routh, right? Yeah, so it's just like, recognize that you have a stable of actors who are deeply invested in these characters and want to play them correctly, even to the point. I mean, this goes back to oh shit, I just blanked on his name. Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, okay.
Playing Deadpool the first time, right?
Oh.
Because he so loved Deadpool that he's like, even though this is a disaster, I'm still gonna do it, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of get that with Routh and with Cavill. So make something for them. And particularly the fact that Cavill had just come back in that end credits scene.
It took the release of the Deadpool footage for Deadpool to get made.
Exactly.
And that's really what it would take is find some way to present what the fans would want. But that footage really was a huge payoff because the script had been floating around. I had read the intro to Deadpool. So when it showed, I was like, this is exactly what the script says.
Yep.
And it was fantastic. It was a great intro.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think Gunn is ever going to shy away from making an R-rated film. I don't think you could make a Lobo film and it not be R-rated.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I want Gunn to make a Lobo film. I don't want Gunn to make a Superman film.
I don't want Gunn to start with a Superman film. I want like we know that shit. Superman's been on
exactly
animated in some form since the 60s. You know, we know.
Why is Gunn not doing Green Lantern Corps? Because Green Lantern Corps is basically DC's Guardians, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's a bunch of obscure characters. There's a bunch of weirdos.
Yeah.
Give that to Gunn. But it's like when you look at the successful DCEU stuff from the past several years. Again, I'm sorry, Danny. It's not Snyder stuff. It is the Patty Jenkins. It is the Todd Phillips.
A Patty Jenkins.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's
it
A
is,
Patty.
Yeah, it is I just the guy that did the Batman, you know,
Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves. Yeah.
Those are the things.
James Wan, drop James Wan in
James
there
Wan, right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like they don't need an overarching Warner Brothers keeps thinking they need a Feige to compete with Marvel. And they don't. And that's what it seems like the direction they've told James Gunn to go. And they're like, the DCEU is yours. And they did that with Snyder and it blew up in their faces. So I'm very concerned with what he's going to do with this. And this is me saying, I love the Suicide Squad. I love Peacemaker. Those things are rock solid entertainment. But he can't do that with every character in the DC universe.
My concern is DC and it being owned by Discovery. You know, that's he likes.
I want to address this comment because I don't like Brightburn, and that concerns
I remember
me.
you talking about that.
I know he didn't write Brightburn, but he produced it. I'm not a big fan of that, and I don't think like if the big complaint is that Snyder's Superman was too dark, and then you don't want him to do Brightburn because then that's the same thing, right? You want Superman to be different. So I don't know.
But take a page. I mean, take a look. I mean, I'm going to pitch this as a story that's already been written. But if you look at Jason Aaron and how he did Thor, if you read the Thor book, as he brings in a young Thor, the current Thor, and the last surviving Asgardian. bring in those Superman, bring in the last surviving Kryptonian being, or not Kryptonian, but like last surviving person from Smallville being the Brandon Routh Kingdom Come version of Superman. Bring the current version as Henry Cavill, and bring the young version from TV. I mean, I would love to see those three to get together to try to save the multiverse, because it gives you such a story of Superman between those generations of what he goes through and what he becomes, and how even that old guy can be hopeful in today's times.
I have a feeling that Gunn and Zaslav, they don't want anything to do with anything that was prior to them, including the stuff that people like the CW shows.
I
don't think any of that stuff will come back. Even Peacemaker's like going to be one of the last legacy shows, even though we already have a season 2 confirmed.
That is what this guy's doing. He wants to make his mark all over DC and go, well, we're just going to do these from now on. And that's what he's doing when he makes those announcements. It's going to have my name on it when we put out the new Justice League. And then when I make Superman.
What's going on? Oh my God. That's so violent.
That's what that guy's doing, because why do you not take what's making money and already out there?
He's gonna rip it off. He's gonna rip it off.
But yeah,
there you go.
I think my other concern is with Gunn writing Superman. I think one of the charming things about what the stuff that he's made is that he takes a group of underdogs. And just, I think that's all. The Peacemaker, kind of.
Yeah, Peacemaker you hate at the beginning, and he makes you feel for him by the end of the film.
Guardians, a bunch of a-holes.
Or series.
Suicide Squad, same thing. But Superman's like, he's top dog at DC. Like, look, you can argue all day Batman, Superman, but like he's part of the Trinity, right?
But where are your other three? Like, who's going to do your Wonder Woman? Who's going to do your Batman? If you're not using Reeves Batman, like, what is the Batman we get?
Yeah, and I'm glad that was a rumor that they wanted to like kind of kick things off with discontinue Matt Reeves. I was like, no, because then you're just doing the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys said, but that was a rumor, and that was confirmed that that's not what they're planning at all. So I was glad to see that, but.
But if you're a creator right now, with the way DC has dealt with their creators through this transition, would you want to go work with them?
Yeah, also a fair point. Which may be why. which may be why. Okay, that may be why Gunn's acting the way he is. Like, maybe he only took the job if he got the assurance from what's his face that
Zaslav.
That his whatever he created would be untouched.
He's the dark side of DC. You might as well just call him Darkseid, because that's what he does. Is he just destroys DC universes left and right.
He's all the villains that were trapped in the Phantom Zone in the Lego Batman movie.
Oh, he'll be the.
Oh man, yeah.
yeah.
I would, I would love to. Like I said, I'd love to see a Crisis movie and Bebo be the Anti-Monitor. All hail Bebo.
Okay, so here's my other. Sorry, it's the last thing I'll say about Gunn, because I feel
I love this debate, because it does make me question it at times because of this.
Yes,
because he does have to find creatives who have to go work at a place that has been known to shit on creators and dump their work.
Yeah, if he
in that show, please.
If he really wanted to be the Feige. And he's never said that. I'm speculating. But if his directive was be the Feige of this rebuilt DCEU, he would have been better starting with something obscure like Green Lantern Corps, or like, I don't know, Martian Manhunter, Legion, like something obscure. Because again, what was the first MCU movie? Iron Man.
Yeah,
nobody but comic fans knew who the fuck Iron Man was, and they were able to build an entire cinematic universe off of it.
And even comic fans would not buy that book.
Yeah, you had to sell me on it to be true.
yeah. I mean, and Tom Cruise. I mean, imagine Tom Cruise playing him instead of Robert Downey Jr.
Right.
That would have been huge. I mean, and it's really unstable to be hired on at DC for any kind of comic project. I mean, Henry Cavill, do you think he would want to return after all this bullshit?
I would hope not. I
You
would
know?
hope not.
And I'm really curious how much
maybe for
money.
a cameo, but you know,
I mean, the deal for Amazon had to have been, you know, brewing for some time.
yeah.
But you would have thought that we would have heard an announcement, at least from the Warhammer group, that Amazon owns the rights. Because when Lord of the Rings went to Amazon, we heard from the Lord of the Rings fans, and Warhammer just came out in an announcement, you know, and that was it.
Yeah.
Well, and it is funny that I mean, and it could just be they need the funding for it, but Warhammer has its own streaming service.
Oh, really?
Warhammer Plus, yeah, and they produce their own content for it, including animated stuff. So the fact that it's not on there tells me they either needed a bigger budget for this, or Warhammer Plus is not doing well. So, yeah. You know, who knows?
Yeah,
60 bucks a year for Warhammer Plus.
Yeah, which is why I've never ponied up for it. So,
like, if you're a Warhammer fan, I'm sure you get enough content that it's probably worth it.
You do get like exclusive. Like I'm just not in that world, but
it's probably the price of like a figure. Like, well, not a figure, but like a little box, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's the price of like a box of 4. You know,
I do want to go to that place in Grapevine that has like the big Warhammer place just to check it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And throughout the week after we heard the news, I made a little video on the channel about 3 things I would like to see. I mean, and it's not difficult to guess Warhammer, but 3 things that maybe Henry Cavill can do in the future. That was one of them for sure, because I know he's a big fan of that.
Yep.
And then you have people like Raul Coley tweeting at him like, "Hey, let's do something with the Warhammer." So I don't know. Hopefully that happens. The other thing was like, how come he doesn't have like a John Wick style franchise? Like, the dude reloaded his arms in Mission Impossible. Like,
it probably would have been the Man from U.N.C.L.E. if Armie Hammer wasn't a cannibal.
Yeah.
Just recast, reboot it, soft reboot.
So many movies have been ruined by Armie Hammer as a cannibal. So
The Lone Ranger.
Well, that movie was ruined.
That movie was bad anyway.
Although he is in Glass Onion, right?
No.
Or did they remove him from that?
No, he was in the Death of the Nile.
That's what I'm thinking of. Thank you. Yeah.
Orient Express. 2.
It was the sequel. It's the other Poirot movie.
Oh, they're not called. I guess they're not. I thought it was like Knives Out. That it was like that, and then the subtitle. But I guess it's just
no. It's just Death on the Nile. So
that's
the one I'm thinking
of. And then the third thing was like, all right, finally, let's put him in a Marvel thing and make him Captain Britain. Because
I am so torn on this because I totally see where you're coming from.
But I just don't want him to be. I just don't want it to be like Sentry or Hyperion. I don't want him to be the Superman clone at Marvel.
Right, so but the thing also is hey, there we are. Is that Captain Britain fundamentally is a dick, and I think Cavill is so charming that I mean he certainly has the acting chops to do it, but
I'm thinking, you know what? So from the stuff that I read more recently, because I haven't read much old Captain Britain, I feel like Captain Britain's been written more like the reluctant hero or like he has his obligations hold him back from being happy by himself. His brother, Jamie, he's the one that's just a dick. Like he's crazy. But he's super powerful, right? Because he's got like these reality altering powers and stuff in other world. I don't know. I think if Marvel
to play him would be such a weird, because he's crazy. He always walks around in his underwear.
If Marvel wants to lean into the fantasy stuff, I think Captain Britain is your way in.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And they could expand. I mean, they already got the multiverse going. It could be a completely separate thing that you bring them in for the big events, because they can be in other world. They don't even have. They could be in whatever other multiverse Captain Britain's in. Yeah. I don't know. I find that very interesting. I think it could be very well done.
What if
Chloe's gone to sleep again?
What if? Oh no! What if instead of Captain Britain, I'm just gonna throw this out there, because again, we haven't gotten the X-Men universe yet. What if instead he plays Wyatt? He plays Wonder Man.
Oh, well, I think they already have. I think is it Yaya Abdul-Mateen that's gonna do.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I believe that's who they cast in the Wonder Man.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. That would be
Yeah,
cool.
for the TV show, I'm pretty sure I saw that news somewhere.
Okay.
Poor Clay. We need to.
I know. We need to get him. Man,
It looked like he's he looked like he's weakened.
He looks like he's Santa nodding off on the Santa chair.
Oh, he took it off. He took it off before I got to. Well, we'll see if Clay comes back.
Okay.
But yeah, that was it. I mean, I am disappointed. I think it's oh, there he goes. He's coming back. Clay, you moved right before I put the birdie on top of you. Clay, do you have any last thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think James Gunn sees the Marvel picture and sees the DC picture. He's going to bring his creative style to it, but it's the management and the people he picks. That's probably going to be the biggest thing on here, and those relationships. Because I'd like to believe that him and Henry Cavill, he had a discussion. It's just hey, this is not what we're going to do, and he put it in there and said he had a face-to-face. Again, I'm reading this shit because he's responding and everything. But it's, I believe that he could create some great relationships. He already knows a lot of creative people that he could bring in. I think
Oh no! Oh shit! Well, Clay comes back. Henry Cavill did have a really nice Instagram post. I think that's his only social media that he uses. And it was what I really liked is how he wrapped it up with like really what the message of Superman is.
Okay.
Like not really. Here, let me pull it up while Clay gets back.
Poor Clay.
Did he message on the Discord?
He's gonna destroy that computer. I don't blame him.
Hit that join our Patreon so you can get a new computer. Yeah, it was a really nice. Here, let me pull it up while Clay gets back and we wrap it up because he's
poor guy.
Yeah, but it's weird. It definitely is a computer though, because the paint streams that he does.
Yeah.
Never happens. That never happens.
Chat.
Oh, that was my own computer telling me. So yeah, okay, here you go. Let me share the screen real quick. Oh,
hey. I'm so sorry, man.
Your computer doesn't like doing audio. Oh no.
I'm going out like Santa.
Don't open till Christmas. I was just gonna share this real quick. We're coming back. What the hell? Oh my god.
What do you got?
I was gonna share Henry Cavill's post about him leaving. There you go.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, he just had a meeting. I've just had a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran. It's sad news, everyone. I will, after all, not be returning as Superman after being told by the studio to announce my return back in October. That poor man. Prior to, can you imagine? Like you announce your big new job to all your friends. But what I really like is the second part. I don't know if is this a 2-part post. Hold on one second. Let me see here. I thought I saw more. But yeah, just I like the part at the end, right? My turn to where the cape has passed. But what Superman stands for is never will. It's been a fun ride with you all, onward and upward. So definitely very I think he's being very cool about this. And then a few days later, we get the Warhammer post. So
yeah, I mean, I'm curious how long this had been in the works between Amazon and Games Workshop.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. It's a really huge deal, and to snag Cavill, I think is kind of brilliant. Oh no, Clay froze again. He looks surprised at my comment.
All right, you know what? Let's just wrap up the show. Josh, we'll start with your recommendation.
Okay.
We'll go to mine. If
I
Craig-
actually,
if Craig comes back,
I'm kind of, I've got a twofer, but they're both related to Humble Bundle. So
sure.
first off, let me share my
You're gonna
screen.
share your screen here. Let me. I'll pull it up.
Let's see, where is it? Okay. There we go. So the first is, and this is still going on for 12 more days, is a Humble Bundle. It's the Neil Gaiman Dark Horse collection. So it's not the novels, it's most of the comics based on his writing. So you get all 3 volumes of American Gods. You get, this is amazing. I owned this years ago, Snow Glass Apples by Gaiman and Colleen Duran, who I adore. A Study in Emerald is a great short story. How to Talk to Girls at Parties. 2 volumes of Norse mythology, which is still being produced, right? Like it's not done yet.
No, yeah, you're right. I think it's still ongoing.
Okay. Chivalry, which is a great short story. Trollbridge, which came out not that long ago, actually. It's a really, really good collection of kind of like all the other fiction that he's known for in comic form, which is great. So it's not like Sandman, it's not, Books of Magic, it's not the stuff we associate him with, but it's his prose writing converted into comic format.
Okay.
Including his original, kind of the thing that helped him break through, his and Dave McKean's Signal to Noise, which is one of the first big graphic novels they did together. This is pre-Sandman even. So that's one thing. Again, for $18, you get all of this, which is a steal.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a good deal.
Well, and I did also want to point out, I've noticed here at the end of the year, Humble Bundle is doing a cool thing where every day they're bringing back a previous bundle. They're calling them the Holiday Encores, and they're only around for like a few days. So, for instance, if you missed the 2K mega hit bundle earlier in the year, well, it's back, and you've got a few days to get it, right? Actually, at this point, only an hour. So go grab it. These are all only an hour. So Best of Stealth, Sid Meier's Ultimate Collection. But tomorrow they'll have more, that they kind of bring back up. So anyway, just wanted to share that as well. If you've missed out on some things, keep an eye on the Humble Bundle homepage.
Cool. Well, to stay on topic with that, Clay's recommendation, which I'll just do because he's not coming back. Is the Warhammer.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, we really need to get Humble Bundle to sponsor the show.
We really do. I lean on them a lot. So yeah, this is Cubicle 7's new. How do I put this? Well, no, I guess this is their Warhammer 40K role-playing game. So it's not the standard.
Not the figures.
Yeah, exactly. This is the RPG stuff. But it's a huge collection of stuff. It's a really, really good.
And you get a coupon.
And if you scroll down, I think there's also a soundtrack you get. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so yeah. And that's only one of, they also do, if you like less of the Warhammer 40K stuff, but more of the fantasy stuff, Cubicle 7 also puts out Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, which is the the older stuff. So it's like not 40K, it's in the past. And they've been putting this out, which is just a beautiful book.
I wonder if that's what the movie or the TV show may be about then.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like if Cavill was I think he's more of a 40K fan than an original Warhammer fantasy. So I suspect, that logo looked more like 40K to me.
Yeah, I think so.
I am not.
I'm not very familiar. I'm gonna go get some opinions I'm gonna just interview people at the store.
There you go. That's a good idea.
Tell me what you think. So maybe check for that on the channel. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe not this week, next weekend, since we got a few days off for holidays. My recommendation: there's a bunch of hardcovers coming out next week for DC. The one I want to talk about is Catwoman: Lonely City. This is Cliff Chang. It collects the 4 issues, Black Label. So if you didn't get a chance to read this, make sure to go check it out. It's coming out in hardcover next week. There's also there's two Tom King collections also coming out in hardcover, Batman Catwoman and also Batman Killing Time. It's gonna be a heavy. Maybe this should be my Christmas presents from people. If you're listening and you know me, you know what? I might put them on an Amazon wish list. I'll just put it out there for the show. But yeah, really cool stuff. So that's been the show. Thanks to everybody that joined us. Lego, thank you, Leonard Kim, Greg, and the person that was pitching us a logo. Look,
very strongly pitching.
I appreciate the hustle. It's probably not the best to do what we're doing it live. But yeah, other than that, I think we're done. Hopefully, Kyle, send you good vibes. I know you're not feeling well today.
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
Yeah, anybody that's out there, like, just there's just stuff going around. Wash your hands. Wear a mask if you're in a crowded place. I know places don't require you to wear a mask anymore, but it's still probably a good idea. Just because it's cold season. Like, regardless of, this is probably something we should have been doing way beforehand. Anyways, if you're in a crowded place, just wear a mask. It's really easy. It's so much fun not to get sick. So yeah, but that's about it. So thanks for watching, everyone. Stay tuned for the week. I want to do a Man of Steel watch along, maybe sometime this week. I'll figure something out.
Okay, I've been meaning to rewatch it.
I mean, look at that poster. It
is, yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, so we'll do that. I've been doing the comic streams on Fridays just because I got a lot of stuff. A lot of comics that I want to talk about. So, and then stay tuned. Clay's also doing the paint streams. Those are really fun and very long. So you can either go in and learn from what Clay's doing, or you can go in and give Clay some pointers if you're a more experienced painter. I think he would appreciate that too. So either way, thanks. If we don't see you guys for the rest of the year, have a good holiday. Enjoy time with your family or your loved ones. And yeah, thanks for watching, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
And let's get out of
Let's
here.
ride.
Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Twitter loves you.
Oh, yeah. Clay?
Hell, Bebo.
Josh?
Simon Center, get the fuck out.